What's up, YouTubers? It's the Animation of 27 back with you with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about something very different. Because today I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite decade. Now, of course, we all know decades as well, but of course, if I had to pick my all-time favorite decade, which one would it be? Well, it has to be. It starts with a 2 and has 3 zeros. Actually, 4 of them. No, wait, 3 actually, I think. Yep, the 2000s. Yes, for me, the 2000s is my all-time favorite decade of all time. Personally, it was I grew up a lot during that time period, and I'm a fan of that decade. So here's the reasons why I love the 2000s. The main reason is the movies. A lot of my favorite childhood movies came out in this decade alone. And trust me, there's a lot of them. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie, the Simpsons movie, the first 3 Shrek movies, the first 3 Ice Age movies, the first 2 Madagascar movies, Incredibles 1, Finding Nemo 1, the first Cars movie, Ratatouille, Surf's Up, Open Season, Barnyard, Happy Feet 1, Hoodwink, the first movie, Curious George, Clifford's Really Big Movie, Atlantis, Treasure Planet, Lilo and Stitch, Emperor's New Groove, Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Chicken Little, Shark Tale, Monsters vs. Aliens, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, Meet the Robinsons, The Wild Bolt, Treasure Planet, I already said that, Dinosaur, Fantasia 2000, Titan AE, which I never seen before, Sinbad, El Dorado, Spirit, Up, Wall-E, Coraline, Secret of Kells, B-Movie, Over the Hedge, Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius the movie, Planet 51, Robots. There were even some good TV movies, and TV and direct-to-video movies, like the Proud Family movie, the Kim Possible movies, the Fairly OddParents movies, the Danny Phantom movies, the direct-to-video Family Guy movies, Stewie Griffin: The Untold Story, the Billy and Mandy movies, the K&D movies, aka Kids Next Door, the Fosters movies, the Camp Lazlo movie, Where's Lazlo, and many others. There were some good direct-to-video and TV movies in the 2000s. And speaking of TV, some of my all-time favorite TV shows came out in the 2000s. Now, a lot of people have a hard time picking which year of the late 90s was the start of the 2000s. Many people say it was 1997, many people say it was 1998, and many people say 1999. For me, I always like to say 1999 was the start. For me, I always put 1998 and 1997 as part of the 90s. So technically, the TV shows that came out in 1997 had 3 years in the 90s, and the TV shows from 1998 had 2 years in the 90s. So I technically put them with 90s shows. But the shows from 1999, I count them more as 2000 shows. But trust me, a lot of my favorite shows came out in this decade, and there's a lot. Total Drama, Danny Phantom, Family Guy, Phineas and Ferb, Proud Family, Kim Possible, SpongeBob, The Fairly OddParents, Futurama, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Boondocks, Fosters, Grimm, K&D, Lazlo, Chowder, Flapjack, Jake Long, Lilo and Stitch the series, Emperor's New School, The Replacements, Jupiter Lee, Buzz on Maggie, Dave the Barbarian, 16, Johnny Test, Teen Titans, Avatar, Invader Zim, Back at the Barnyard, My Life as a Teenage Robot, The PJs, American Dad, and maybe The Cleveland Show, unless that's more of a 2010 show. I'll see about that later. I think so, but whatever. And many others. There were so many good TV shows from the 2000s. So many iconic TV shows and movies that came out in the 2000s. Some of them, of course, have become some of the most beloved shows and movies of the 21st century. Now, yes, the 2000s wasn't perfect. Of course, there were some bad things that happened. Of course, there were some famous celebrities that passed away, like the guy that played Frank from Everybody Loves Raymond died in 2006, which ironically was the same year that the show ended. Bernie Mac from the Bernie Mac Show died in 2008, and his last movie was Madagascar 2, which I forgot to which I mentioned back before and stuff. So he passed away in that video. Of course, may he rest in peace. And of course, And of course, there was the tragedy that was 9/11, which was 18 years ago. Yeah, you gotta think about this. In 2 years, it will be the 20th anniversary of 9/11. It's been almost 2 decades since the September 11th attacks. Now, of course, I've heard about 9/11, and I heard how sad it was. I want to say, rest in peace to anyone who was killed during the attacks. And I want to say sorry to everyone who lost a loved one during that time. I want to say sorry for your loss, and may they all rest in peace and stuff. Now, 9/11 is a very big history thing. Like, anywhere you go in schools, they talk about it now. I mean, it was from 2001, and it's still talked about today. Hell, the Twin Towers are still destroyed. They can't rebuild them. Now, of course, they did get rid of Osama bin Laden 10 years after. Heck, it was so bad that a lot of movies and TV shows that feature like towers getting destroyed got in trouble for featuring that due to the incident. So yeah, it was a very bad time for us. But we've managed to move on for the most part. Some of us have moved on. But if you haven't, I'm sorry for what happened during that time period. I really am sorry for what happened. But moving on to more positive things, the 2000s is a good decade. I really love it. I mean, the movies and TV shows, let me talk, some movies that I really love are Shrek. Of course, we all love Shrek. I mean, if you were a kid in the 2000s, you grew up with Shrek. You, of course, always watched him on TV or on DVD. Of course, there were the two sequels, Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third. I know a lot of people hate Shrek the Third, calling it one of the worst sequels of all time, but personally, it's one of my favorite films of all time. I'll tell you why in my review of it, but I personally love Shrek the Third. I thought it was a very funny animated film. It was a great film. I mean, the characters were funny, the songs were good, especially that end credits song with Donkey and Puss. It was overall very funny. As for TV shows, of course, my all-time favorite show, The Fairly OddParents, came out in the same year as Shrek in 2001. And of course, if y'all know, I love Fairly OddParents, so of course, it came out in my favorite decade, so that's a big bonus. And I'll tell you why I love The Fairly OddParents. Not right now, I mean, I'll tell you about it in my review, because I am planning to do a series reviewing like movies, and another one reviewing TV shows and specials. But I am going to talk about Fairly OddParents sometime soon, and I will tell you why I love it. But the characters are lovable, the animation is good, and the songs are good, and it has a good overall theme. And of course, there were other good stuff, like SpongeBob, which was a really good animated show. And of course, they had a good movie, which I consider to be the greatest movie of all time. We also had The Simpsons movie, which I consider to be one of the funniest movies of all time. We also had Family Guy, which I consider to be the greatest adult cartoon ever. I know it's gone downhill, but I still love Family Guy. I still laugh at the episodes. And I can't wait for season 18 coming this fall on Fox. BTW, I hope Disney does not kidify Family Guy and Simpsons. I know they just brought them, but I hope they do not kidify them. But there are other good things too, like the Madagascar movies were funny and hilarious. The Ice Age movies were good. I love the first two sequels. And of course, Kung Fu Panda was good. I forgot to mention Kung Fu Panda, but Kung Fu Panda was good. There was also The Incredibles, and Cars, and Monsters Inc. and Finding Nemo. Those were really good. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, that's good, which is turning 10 years old. Of course, we also have Fantastic Mr. Fox, which was another good animated film, which is also turning 10. And of course, I love Fantastic Mr. Fox. I definitely say watch it during Thanksgiving. You can watch it any time, but I feel like the best time to watch it is during the fall. It's a very fall-like movie. I definitely say watch it during the fall. It's a good time to watch it then. But yeah, I really like those movies. Open Season, Happy Feet, Barnyard, the movie, and Surf's Up were all really good animated films and stuff. They were really funny animated features. There was also the Jimmy Neutron movie, which was the start of the Jimmy Neutron TV show, which was good. Another TV show that was also good was Danny Phantom, a really good action cartoon and stuff. There was also more TV to movie adaptations, like the Wild Thornberrys movie, the Rugrats sequels, the one where they went to Paris and the one where they met the Thornberrys, the Hey Arnold movie, not the Jungle movie, but the original, and Recess School's Out. BTW, they're doing a live-action remake of Recess. Yeah, after the Kim Possible remake, they decided, hey, let's take one of our other popular shows and remake it. Yeah, Disney's now trying to remake their TV shows into live-action movies, and I'm just saying, if they do the Proud Family, Phineas and Ferb, we're going to have a problem, Disney. But those were also good too, and Kim Possible. And of course, Total Drama was good. There was also, what else is it? The Wild, Chicken Little, Home on the Range, and Shark Tale. Yeah, personally, I mean, I'm one of those rare people that actually likes Home on the Range, Chicken Little, and Shark Tale. If you saw my Disney post-Renaissance review, you heard me say I love Chicken Little and Home on the Range. Yeah, there are problems in them, but I don't hate them as much as everyone else does. Same thing with Shark Tale. I don't hate it as much as everyone else does. I personally love all those movies. They were a part of my childhood. There were even some good live-action movies in that time period. There was the Spider-Man movies, the X-Men movies, the Blade sequels, the Jim Carrey Grinch, the Fantastic Four movies, the Friday sequels, the Rush Hour sequels, and many others. There were some good live-action movies like Fred Claus, which I consider to be the greatest live-action movie of all time. I'll talk about that during Christmas, though. But there were some good live-action movies and some good live-action shows. House of Pain, That's So Raven, Wizards of Waverly Place, Lizzie McGuire, The Monique Show, and many others. There were some good TV shows in the 2000s too, some good live-action shows. So yeah, and there were some good short films too. I forgot what they were called, but there were some really good short films that came out in the 2000s as well. And there were some good TV specials as well. Was the 2000s perfect? No. There were some sad parts, and there are some movies that from that decade that a lot of people hate. Some of them I love. I can get why some people hate those movies. But that's your opinion, and everyone has their own opinion, right? So anyway, that was my talk about the 2000s. I might be doing this with a lot more decades. This might be a series now where I talk about each different decade, like the first 10 decades, the 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s, the 1950s, the 1960s, the 1970s, the 1980s, the 1990s. Of course, I just talked about the 2000s, and of course the 2010s. So I am planning to talk about more decades, the first 10 decades. Of course, I'm planning to talk about those sometime soon. So that's going to be my next series, so make sure to check that out. Anyway, thanks for watching, folks, and see you later.